What up, Mikey's crew? It's your good friend Michael here, and this video is all about thanking the Western Michigan Broncos and rowing the boat. Not just this season, but of course the past 4 seasons under head coach PJ Fleck. Since he's been hired at Western, he's done a really fantastic job turning around the program. And not only that, but he has recruited great players, not just great players, but great people in our community as well in Kalamazoo. What they've done in the classroom, what they've done on the field, and what they've done in the community just has been an amazing thing. And the city of Kalamazoo has rallied around Western Michigan. The fans, have turned out again for the program, and it's great to see. And it's not just great to see Western's football team doing well, but other teams at Western Michigan are doing well also. And I kind of wonder if the influence of the football team has been feeding off onto these other teams. The baseball team last spring made it to the college tournament. They bowed out in 2 games, but they were able to make it to the NCAA tournament for college baseball. The women's college basketball team this year is on fire. They were looking for like their 10th straight win at the time of filming of this video. I don't know if they were able to do it or not. And the hockey team is playing fantastic as well. The Great Lakes they just won the Great Lakes Invitational over the past weekend at the time I'm filming this video. So all the energy, I bet you, is feeding off of the football team. But I want to talk about this past season, how magical it's been. I've always dreamed of Western Michigan having this great of a season. I've been a fan of theirs since I was a young kid. They had some good seasons in there. They had a couple of chances at the MAC title under Gary Darnell. Didn't happen. The best they did under Bill Cubitt was a 9-3 year. But I've always dreamed of, just kind of this magical run. I played as Western Michigan in NCAA football video games. I've been able to lead them in national championships, but that's at all fantasy world. To see it happen in real life is a lot more incredible than having it happen in a video game. And PJ Fleck came in his first season, turned around one of the worst college football programs in the nation. They went 1-11 that year, and they could have easily been 0-12 if it wasn't for a 2-point play that UMass failed to convert. They would have been 0-12 that year. But under Zach Terrell and Corey Davis, the next year they were able to bring in Jarvion Franklin at running back and add some other key players to the mix as well, and he turned it around immediately. I mean, we weren't thinking until maybe the 3rd year he was going to have this kind of record, but had an 8-5 record the 2nd year he was there, and then the 3rd year they go 8-5, and that year was a little more disappointing toward the end of it, like not right at the end, but near the end of it, just because we thought we had a chance at the MAC title. We had ended up winning a few games in a row, and we had the gauntlet coming up, which was Bowling Green, Northern Illinois, and Toledo. And if we could have won all 3 of those games, we were going to go to the MAC title game. We fell short in Kalamazoo against Bowling Green. We fell short on the road against Northern Illinois. But then, and that's at the point I'm like, great, another disappointment. But then when I really thought we turned the table was against Toledo, when we won on the road the day after Thanksgiving against a top 25 team, which was Western's first ever win against a top 25 team. Then they play in the Bahamas Bowl, and they beat Middle Tennessee for their first ever bowl victory. And it just seemed like everything had finally turned the table. And then this season came around, and I looked at the schedule right at the beginning of the season, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think they have a chance to go undefeated this year. And they did. They ran the table in the regular season. They won the MAC championship. Yes, they fell in the Cotton Bowl, which was a disappointment. But you know what? We continue to row the boat toward next season. We look forward to next year. We never stopped rowing the boat. Yes, I got disappointed and down after they got down 14-0, but never was I thinking this game's over. I just, like PJ Fleck said, he just said, we're going to row the boat. That's the message he gave to his team. Just continue to row the boat. And you know what Western did? They actually outscored Wisconsin the rest of that game. They outscored them 16-10. Zach Terrell did make a mistake. He threw an interception to TJ Edwards. And by the way, score just popped up on my screen as I'm filming. Western Michigan's women's team just won their 10th straight game. They beat Miami, Ohio by 25 points. So there you go. Western Michigan women's team is on fire as well. anyways, back to the Cotton Bowl really quickly. And then after that interception, 3 plays later, Wisconsin scored, made it 14 points. But you know what? Western did not give up. They drove right down the field. Zach Terrell had a 4th down pass into the corner of the end zone, which Corey Davis brought down. They had a chance at the onside kick, didn't get it, and they didn't stop Wisconsin on the 3rd down on the next possession, which ended up ending the game when Troy Fumagalli caught the pass, which he was a monster. The best tight end PJ Fleck said they had seen in the 4 years that he's been there at Western. So it's hard to cover a guy when he's 6'6" and you have Darius Phillips on him. He was like what 5'9", 5'10", they're saying. So he's given up quite a few inches. He's given up about 8 inches. That's hard to cover, and he's their best cover guy. And you know what? They blanketed him on that touchdown pass, and he just went up and got the ball. He just made a play. That's all you can say. But let's kind of recap the season really quickly here. I know I talked about it in my sports talk video, but I kind of just ran through it quickly. I want to specifically talk about Western, and I specifically want to talk about as well what they've not only done for the community, what they also did for me this year as well, because they did a fantastic thing for me as well. It started off the year at Northwestern, traveled to that game. Never had I seen Western win a road game, and I love traveling to different stadiums around the country. I've mostly been to ones in the Midwest. I haven't really been to ones any outside, but I love traveling to different stadiums, and going down Northwestern wasn't that far, just a little over a 2-hour drive to get there. And Western put up a heck of a fight. Northwestern went down early, scored a touchdown, kind of like what the Cotton Bowl was against Wisconsin. They got up early, but Western fought back, just like in this game. Northwestern got up early, Western fought back, had long drives, kicked only field goals, trailed at the half 7-6. Come out the second half, they score a touchdown, 13-7. They take the lead. Northwestern's able to grab it back. Western kicks a field goal once again to reclaim the lead, 16-14. Northwestern scores another touchdown, make it 21-16. Western drives down the field on a 4th down at the 1-yard line. They have to go for it in the situations late in the game. Jamari Bogan gets in for a touchdown. After review, it's confirmed. They go for 2. They don't get it, so they're up 22-21. Northwestern drives all the way down the field. Clayton Thorson scrambles, and it looks like at this point he's going to go in for the touchdown. Game's going to be over. Robert Spillane comes in, knocks the ball loose. Now, Javonte Ginwright on the play did something he shouldn't have done, and that was toss the ball back in play, which Northwestern recovered, and they had a touchdown. However, on review, Ginwright had his foot down, so the throw-in did not count. It was a touchback. If he had let it go, it was going to be a touchback no matter what, which is what he should have done. So Western had the ball, and they needed 2 first downs to win the game. Well, they got one, then they got the other, and they took a kneel down. It was a fantastic way to start the season. And without that play by Robert Spillane, none of this would have happened. In fact, who knows if that had been the only loss, they might not have had all the momentum going the rest of the way. Well, then they beat North Carolina Central. They pummeled them 70-21. Huge game for the Broncos on the offensive side of the ball. Then they played at Illinois, and they physically dominated another Big Ten team. They physically dominated Illinois. A big game on the ground for both Bogan and Franklin in that game. So they beat Illinois 34-10. Then they come home to face Georgia Southern, which was a game I was really worried about because last year Western had got pummeled by Georgia Southern down in their own stadium. But Western came in, they defended the option the best they could, and they scored lots and lots of points this game fast. In fact, Darius Phillips had a pick 6 and a kickoff return for the touchdown in this game. And that helped Western get to a 49-31 victory. The next week at Central Michigan, which was a game I was worried about as well because Central had beaten Oklahoma State. Yes, maybe that win shouldn't have counted for them because the refs gave them an extra play, but they still won. They'd only lost to Virginia coming in the game, and they almost came back and beat Virginia. They actually come all the way back, but then Virginia regained momentum and ended up pulling away. Central could have easily been undefeated coming in this game, and they were able to move the ball on Western in the first drive, get a field goal. But Western was able to put their will into the game and row the boat really, really hard because they were able to move the ball down the field. Darius Phillips, once again, a pick 6 in this game. Incredible. Really, that was in the second half, and that really turned the momentum in Western's favor. They routed Central 49-10. Then they come home to face Northern Illinois for homecoming, which was the first home game I've been able to see that year. So that was this was their 6th game into the season. They were ranked for the first time ever in the coaches poll in the top 25 coming into this game. And Corey Davis had a spectacular catch in the corner of the end zone, a one-handed catch. It was amazing to see. There was a scare in the game. We thought Zach Terrell might have gotten knocked out. He scrambled to the goal line. It looked like he fumbled the ball, but he had recovered it, and it looked like he was down and was not going to come back in. But Tom Flacco came in for him, and then Terrell came back later. Was not himself the rest of the first half, but the second half he came back and played fantastic and led Western to the victory. They had trouble stopping the run that game, but Northern Illinois is a team that likes to spread you around, so it's hard to stop them. But they were able to win 45-30, so they got out of that. Then comes the Akron game on the road, and Akron's playing pretty well at this point. In fact, before the game, they had burned an oar and smashed it. Well, terrible decision by Akron. Western didn't know about it until after the game, and Western was able to blow out Akron 41-0, shutout victory. What an amazing game that was. Western's first shutout in quite a long time. I think it was almost 10 years that they, 9 or 10 years since they had a shutout. And I think it was against Buffalo was the last time they had a shutout. Then they come home to face Eastern Michigan. And I wasn't really worried about this game start of the year because it's Eastern. But then they are an improving team as well under Chris Creighton. They came in and they actually forced Zach Terrell to throw an interception, which, by the way, was Western's first turnover of the season. Wow, amazing to say that. First turnover of the season came in that game against Eastern Michigan. And we're talking 8 games in. And by the way, now Western's ranked in the top 25 in the AP poll as well for the first time ever. I think they became ranked after the Akron game for the first time ever in the AP poll. Or it might have been after Northern Illinois game as well. Corey Davis had another amazing catch in this game. He grabbed the ball over the defender and hauled it in. But even though Eastern was able to take a lead in the first half, Western was able to get a touchdown, then forcing Eastern turnover and get a field goal, and got 10 quick points at the end of the first half to take the momentum into halftime. So they're rowing the boat through a storm. They were able to get into calm waters then and then hold off Eastern in the second half for a 45-31 victory. Then they go on the road to face Ball State. Darius Phillips takes another interception back for a touchdown in this game. Corey Davis had a huge game, over 200 yards receiving. I believe he set the program record for receiving yards in a game in that game against Ball State, and they routed them 52-20. They did have trouble stopping the run, but in the end, it really didn't matter when they won by 32 points. Then the next week, they faced Kent State. Now, by the way, both these games were midweek games, and they're both on the road. And at Kent State, it was a miserable night. It was rainy. And they went up early, 14-0 on the Broncos, and we're thinking, oh, man, is this going to be the time where the Broncos get upset? But Western, came back, trailed by 1 at the half, came out in the second half, scored a touchdown, and was able to take the lead back. Kent State took the lead back again, but Western was able to force a safety, turn momentum in their favor, and then ended up pulling away in the end, winning 37-21. Then another exciting thing happened. Game day came to town, which was a really exciting thing. This kid was in the Buffalo week. It was warm out all week, and then it was really cold on that Saturday, so game day was a cold experience, but it was really fun to be there. The game was cold as well. The crowd had kind of thinned out in the second half once Western took control. They struggled early to kind of get out there and take the lead, but by the end of the third quarter, they were in control, and they had their second shutout of the season, defeating Buffalo 38-0. Then the big game, the game that decided it all. We had a circle kind of at the end of the season. The game that was going to decide who goes to the MAC title game out of the Mid-American West Division. Now it's either going to be Western Michigan or Toledo. Big game, 5 o'clock in Kalamazoo the day after Thanksgiving. Once again, they're playing Toledo the day after Thanksgiving. And Western has all these things going for them. Corey Davis is probably going to break the career receiving mark in NCAA history coming into this game. Of course, it's senior day as well. A lot of emotions riding around this game. First play of the game, Asante Brown picks it off, takes it back to the house for a touchdown. Western's up 7-0, just like that. And they really had momentum the rest of the way. Toledo was able to go down and score. It kind of went back and forth early on, but Western dominated the second quarter of play, second and third quarter, and they really rolled at it. Corey Davis got the receiving mark It was an incredible game. What an atmosphere. Western wins 55-35, but that score was closer than what it actually was. Donnie Ernsberger caught his first touchdown pass this season in this game as well, which was incredible. So then we go to the Mid-American Conference title game against Ohio. So Western's trying to win their first Mid-American Conference title since the year 1988. The year I was born, by the way. So 28 years since they had won this. They get up 9-0 early on. They're kicking a lot of field goals. Kind of reminds you of the Northwestern game where they're kicking a lot of field goals, getting into the red zone. They were able to get a 23-7 lead going into halftime. Corey Davis had a big touchdown catch, a long one in this game. And then Ohio started coming back on Western, and we're thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? Are they going to be able to win this game? They had the ball, final drive, driving down the field, and then Robert Spillane comes up with the interception to seal it for Western. They win the Mid-American Conference title, so it's a kind of a bookend for Robert Spillane. He causes the fumble that gives Western the victory in the Northwestern game, and then intercepts the pass to seal the victory in the Mid-American Conference title game. The crowd was amazing. We set a Mid-American Conference record. 45,000 fans at that game, most of them Broncos fans. We celebrated, we stuck around, we saw them get the trophy, and then, of course, they traveled to the Cotton Bowl. The Western fans showed up there. They were loud, they were proud. We fell 24-16 to number 8 Wisconsin, who, by the way, there are 3 losses coming into that game. The Big Ten Championship game against Penn State, Michigan by 7 points, and an overtime loss to Ohio State. So losing to all really good teams there, and now they beat Westerns. Western has nothing, to hang their head in shame. They rode the boat all season. They played fantastic football all year. They showed a lot of resiliency in the Cotton Bowl. They could have easily folded up once it turned into a 14-0 affair early on in that game. They could have easily said, that's it, we're done, and they could have gotten blown out. But this team, with Coach Fleck, with all of his assistants there, with the team that's surrounding him, all those players, those seniors, they did not want to give up, and they didn't. They fought back. Zach Terrell had a bootleg touchdown. He faked the heck out of the Wisconsin defender, and he fell flat on his face. He goes in for a touchdown. They kick a field goal to make it a 17-10 game. They have the interception, which hurt him, but then Corey Davis has the amazing touchdown catch, which, by the way, that touchdown catch, I believe, tied the NCAA record of a quarterback-receiver tandem for touchdowns in a career. I think that was number 55. I think at the beginning of the game they were trailing a Rice tandem by 1, and they ended up tying it. So Corey Davis is going to have a great year, or a great career heading forward in the NFL. We'll have to see if any other Western Michigan Broncos players go there. Will Zach Terrell be drafted? But anyways, now let's talk about some of the things that, some of the players. Zach Terrell, great leader, not just on the field, in the classroom as well. He won the academic Heisman. So congrats to Zach Terrell on that. That's an amazing feat to have happen. That's the Campbell Award, by the way. So that's a great feat. All the Western players did so many things on and off the field. They rallied the community of Kalamazoo together. PJ Fleck, just, and him and his assistants, just an amazing job this entire season, and all the 3 other years that they've been here as well. So all 4 years, these players, these assistants, done such a great job. And as a fan, I just want to thank each and every one of you for everything you guys have done on the field, off the field, in the community, in the classroom. All the hype that's been surrounding the program, all the attention we've gotten nationally recognized this year on ESPN, on CBS Sports Network. PJ Fleck going to ESPN for a day. ESPN coming here for game day, coming here for interviews. Just all the awards, Corey Davis, All-American, having that record. Zach Terrell, I think, had the most career passing yards in Western Michigan football history. So it's just so amazing. 3 straight trips to bowl games. PJ Fleck said in his news conference, 76 nevers have been accomplished this year. Being ranked for the first time ever, college football playoff, AP top 25 poll, coaches poll top 25 poll. Just so amazing. Everything Western Michigan has done. So just it's hard to wrap my mind around everything, but it's just been such a magical, fantastic year. It's disappointing it had to come to an end, but you knew it at some point had to come to an end, and now we row the boat to another possible number one recruiting class. PJ Fleck's had that, I think, 3 straight years, or 4 straight years probably, coming in. So that's incredible. 4 straight years of number one recruiting class in the Mid-American Conference. That's incredible. And forgot to mention, I think the GPA was the highest ever by the football team in Western Michigan football history. So PJ Fleck just doesn't care about these, players as athletes. He cares about them in the student aspect as well, and that's what you need to be as a coach. You care about not just their development on the field, but their development in the classroom as well, to mold the minds of these young players, because not all of them will be going to the NFL. They're going to have jobs throughout the community, throughout the country, throughout the world after football. Some of them, yes, are going to go out and play football in the NFL and have a great career. Others are going to be pursuing what they want to in their fields of study. So that's great. And so now I want to tell about a story that Western Michigan and their coach did for me. I've already talked about this in a video, but I really want to include it in here as well, since I've been talking about Western Michigan overall this season. All right, so I want to quickly talk about the story about the oar here that Coach Fleck sent me. I've already done a video on it, so if you want the full story of me talking, I will definitely post a little tab at the end that you can click on and view the video. But we found out earlier in the year of 2016, around the time of the Super Bowl, that my dad had cancer, and we were told it was incurable. And he passed away December 9th, a week after the Mid-American Conference Championship game. So we got to see all of Western's undefeated season and the special season they had. Well, I contacted Coach PJ Fleck on Twitter and told him that my dad had lost his battle with cancer. Please go win the Cotton Bowl for him. And I never expected a response. I didn't expect to hear anything back, but his wife, Heather, got in contact with me and said, we're sorry for your loss. We'd like to send you an oar to honor the memory of your father. And I thought, wow, that's such an incredible thing. So I gave them my address, and they sent the oar, and it says Michael, RTB, signed by head coach PJ Fleck. And it's a really, really nice oar that's going to go up on my wall. And right underneath it, I'm going to hang the place card that talks about row the boat. And so, not only can row the boat apply to football, I mean, Coach PJ Fleck has said that, this is not a football term. Obviously, football players, they don't row a boat. We're not the rowing team here. We're a football team. But what it is it's getting through adversity is what row the boat means. Getting through the challenges of life. Whether that could be you're playing football and you fall behind in a game. It could be me running a 5K race and I'm struggling to get to the finish, but I have I find this kind of energy to get myself to the finish. Or with the loss of my dad, I'll always honor his memory, and so I just got to continue to row the boat, in honor of him, and continue to live my life and just keep doing the things I want to do, and that's what we should all be doing. So if we all pick up an oar, if we all get in our boats, and I'm not just talking about individual boats, but say it's me in a boat, and then we have all these other people that join in. Think about the football team. You got all the fans that come to Waldo Stadium, nicknamed the Boatyard. We all are rowing the boat all game long, cheering on the Broncos through the game, or through the storm, through the adversity of the game. Just saying. So it just doesn't apply. It just doesn't apply to sports. It can apply to your life. So are you going to put down the oar and get out of the boat and give up? Or are you going to pick up the oar, continue rowing no matter what happens in your life, whether it's good or bad? Just continue rowing no matter what, and you will find yourself, and others will join you to help pick you up and to help row the boat with you, and you'll get through the daily struggles of life, the daily grind, and you'll get to the other side, you'll get to calmer waters, and you'll get to happier times. And so that's why it's just been such a special season. Not only did the football team perform really well, They did really well off the field and in the classroom and in the community. And so I just want to reiterate that one more time. And they were really special to me and my family this year as well. And I will never forget this. I will always cherish this the rest of my life. Went to Western Michigan. I'm just so proud of PJ Fleck, Corey Davis, Zach Terrell, and the entire Western Michigan football team. Thank you guys so much for this incredible season. We're going to row the boat again next year. We're going to, try to go to USC and come away with a victory, and then go to Michigan State, come away with a victory there as well, and hopefully get another Mid-American Conference title. Sky's the limit, so just remember, everybody, continue to row the boat through life. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description below. Drop a thumbs up in this video if you enjoyed. I'm going to put 3 different video tabs up here. I'm going to put one for my story about, getting this oar in honor of my dad. So if you want to see the full story, you can see it up here. PJ Fleck's press conference in the Cotton Bowl down here. And if I can get the link up for it, MLive did a highlights video of Western season from the Northwestern game all the way through the Cotton Bowl. I'll put that down here. Of course, I'll have to subscribe to my channel, little tab here. And then I think I'm going to put the Western Michigan Bronco Athletics tab here so you can check out everything in there. They'll have press conferences from PJ Fleck in there and other things to deal with the football team and all the other sports in there as well. So this is Mike Loud over now. Mikey's crew, you guys are the best. Take care. Continue to row the boat. Go Broncos!